All right, so boom. As we all know, social media is a blessing and a curse, and you can argue the pendulum swings heavily in one direction or the other. Earlier this morning, I went for a run, and it was about like 11:30, 12 o'clock. And I'm running through a park, and it's summer vacation. So you would assume there's gonna be a bunch of children outside, young adults outside, people probably having a good time. That was not the case. And the few that was actually outside, everybody was glued to their phones. I was at a point in which I was on a bit of a loop for like 35 to 50 some seconds. And I'm staring a hole through everybody because I'm just absolutely bewildered, flummoxed, perplexed as to how is it that you can have small groups of young adults, teenagers together, everybody just staring at their phones. And it begged the question, there's no scenario in about 10 some years to where Gen Z, or the tail end of Gen Z, I think the early portion of Gen Z, anywhere, what was it, 96, 97, up until like 2002 per se, they could probably claim that they had a bit of childhood without technology per se, but there's no way that the bulk share of Gen Z and Gen Alpha can claim to the conversation of having the greatest childhood of all the generations, because all of us can have a legitimate argument, right? There's no way. There's no way children now can even compete with us, right? I'm not gonna speak on Gen X, the baby boomers who happen to be in the building. I can only speak on the millennials, right? Because I believe we have the best generation to childhood to have grown up. Why is that? Because we got the best of both worlds. You had the bulk share of your childhood was spent without social media being so heavily, predominant in your day-to-day. And then the second half of your life, you happen to have, social media technology went and took over, right? Because think about what socials, when it really started to hit its apex. That was like maybe 2009, 2010, pretty much the rest of the 2010s moving forward. But before that, Skonex, MySpace, Bebo, all those different sort of websites, they were cool. People were on them and active, but it wasn't so much so to where the bulk share of your day was just spent online. You was either having to go play games, you was probably outside at the mall, you was communing with a bunch of your other friends. You had different sort of things that really encouraged being outside, touching grass, and having to do things together. For example, y'all remember midnight releases? Where video games would be released at like 12, or maybe shoes would get released at a certain sort of location, and the only way you could get it is if you physically went to those spots. These kids don't know nothing about that shit. Think about it. What was it? I remember I was in junior high. I think it was Halo. It might have been Halo 1. No, it couldn't have been Halo 1. Maybe Halo 2 or Halo 3. Somebody could fact check. It was like 2007, something like that, because it was my senior year. My father was in the hospital, and I'll never forget. It was like a middle of the week. This game got released. Folks left from after school to go to Manhattan and was standing on a line in anticipation for midnight when the game would ultimately get released and then you can buy it. They had like hundreds of people outside in the city and numerous different locations around the nation just waiting until midnight for a release of a video game. They don't have that now because everything is digital. You don't have that experience no more. Even with the release of shoes, ain't there like an app or something, that like sneakers app, you got them? It might, I don't know if it's just Nike or whatever the case is, but I've always seen people post it on social media where it's, I got them. Oh man, I missed out. Or maybe you didn't get them or something. Before, you had to go to the store, wait in a line. Like, remember how Black Friday back in the day, you always had these brawls, if you will? And earlier, I think it was last year, I'm like, oh, America might be back. Folks is fighting on Black Friday. We might be back, right? But you remember them days where you had to do things in person, and above all else, you had to do things together. Like virtual gaming now, everything is done from the confines of your crib. You don't have to encourage people to come together. Like back in the day, you couldn't play the game together unless y'all was together in the spot. Remember the PS2 only had 2 controller ports. You had to get a multi-tap in order to get 6 people to play. I remember playing SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, or SmackDown, Shut Your Mouth, or any of those wrestling games on the PS2. You get the multi-tap, now 6 of your friends, or 5 of your friends, one would have to watch if it was 6. You and 5 of your friends could play the game at the same time. You couldn't do that shit. Nowadays, you could probably play the game. Everybody just play the game at the same time, but you're not actually together, kicking jokes together, roasting each other together, having that good bonding time together, because everybody just either on their phone or you have the benefit of just doing everything wirelessly.
I miss that so much. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Wait a minute. Raycon is back with everybody's favorite, the return of the everyday earbuds. So now you can tune out all the noise and tune in to something very great. The latest version of the Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classic now features active noise cancellation, the one thing they were missing. You pair that with 8 hours of playtime and a 32-hour battery life, your Raycons will never leave your ears. I'm always wearing mine. In fact, in Miami this past weekend, I was riding a jet ski while listening to the music on my Raycon. Shouldn't have did it, but I did it. And their audio quality rivals the big audio brands that you know and love at half their price. Plus now, the Everyday Classic comes with a protective case. Check out how cool this is. Everywhere I go, my Raycons are gonna be protected. And don't just take it from me. Remember, the Everyday Earbuds have tens of thousands of 5-star reviews. So whether you're listening to a podcast, you're listening to music, maybe it's an audiobook, maybe you're listening to blank noise in order to be able to read, maybe you're writing somebody's name in the Death Note. Whatever the case is, Raycon has the best audio quality pumping into your ears. So do yourself a favor right now and get premium audio by clicking the link in my description and heading over to buyraycon.com/chisel to get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's buyraycon.com/chisel for 20% off your very next pair of Raycons. Let them know I sent you.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Before the internet really started to take over to where everybody kind of has a cop-out to where you can find something out immediately. When you're playing a game, sometimes, especially in the early 2000s, you really the first person who's going through this, and if you don't beat it, you gotta sit there and wait for somebody else to. Nowadays, you can release a game on like a Tuesday. Some kid in like Indonesia done beat that shit within 6 hours and got the whole thing posted on a different website or a forum. So if you ever got to the point in which you felt stuck playing a game, you just go online and you can find the damn walkthrough immediately. Back in the day, that wasn't the case. It's the year 2000. You playing Pokemon Silver, Gold, whatever the case is. You done made it. You the first person in your group to make it to Mount Silver. You see Red up there waiting with a level 81 Pikachu ready to wax your ass. You turning to your left and right. Yo, what do I do? We don't know. You the first one here. You don't have that benefit no more nowadays. There's no way these children know that feeling, bro. It's not the same.
That's not the same.
For example, Super Smash Bros. Melee and Mario Kart, even the original Super Smash Bros. I got memories from playing those games with my friends I'll never forget. And I truly don't know if the generation coming up got that same kind of claim, because everybody could just play singularly within your home, but multiplayer with anybody on the globe. Remember when San Andreas implemented multiplayer where 2 people can go and play? I don't think it was a story mode, or maybe it was. It escapes me if you had to do something within the game. And it's split screen. Almost all of the multiplayer versions and variations across all of the different games, it's split screen. So if you happen to be playing against each other, you'd have to create some sort of divider on the television so you can't see where they located. Because if I just look at your background, I could pretty much cheat and be able to locate you. So you have to find different creative ways to enjoy and experience the games, and you just don't got that no more. And I don't want to just keep it primarily just, on gaming or whatever, but there was so many different things that was completely different from when we was kids, and predominantly millennials, but even Gen X, you probably got some argument to that as well, where you did a bunch of different things. Television shows was different too. I don't think kids nowadays are sitting in front of the television watching TV like that. You probably streaming, watching streamers, or consuming social media content behind the larger screen. You're not really sitting there, Saturday morning, we about to watch WB. We about to watch Fox Kids or stuff like that. We about to tune into Cartoon Network. We about to go and watch all these different, that's just, it's not that no more, bro.
Take me back.
I don't know if the pandemic did it. I don't know if it's primarily because of social media that did it, but it had me sitting here just thinking like, there's no way they fucking with us when it comes to like our childhood. And Gen X's, baby boomers, y'all probably got different sort of things that y'all experience as well that makes you look back like, oh man, if I would go back, I'd be a kid again. And I don't think anybody would ever say, if I can go and reverse time and redo my childhood, who would choose to do it in today's generation? I don't think anybody would. You got 80s babies who saying, take me back to the 80s. 90s babies saying, take me back to the 90s. Early 2000s saying, take me back to the early 2000s. Ain't nobody saying, you know what I want to do? I want to restart as a 6, 7, 8-year-old in 2025. Nobody want to do that shit. Everybody want to go back. So I'm curious, what was your childhood like and what generation you think was the best? Obviously, everybody's going to be very biased. But, or I should say, let me change the question. Do you think that Gen Z and Gen Alpha, for the later Gen Z, I think I'll probably do the cutoff at like 2002. I think anything past 2002 at that point, you way too heavily deep into technology to where you the bulk share of your childhood was spent with technology than without. I think once you get to 2002, that's the cutoff period right there. But do you think that 2002 on, Gen Y, or I should say Gen Z and Gen Alpha, do you think they can make the claim that their childhood was as good as ours? From the millennials to Gen X's to baby boomers, and I'm pretty sure the silent generation, everybody dead, but that's neither here nor there. Actually, no, my uncle is 90, but I don't think he's gonna sit around here and talk about childhood. That's neither here nor there, right? Do you think they can make a legitimate claim for having some of the best childhood? And furthermore, feel free to expand on what your childhood experience was like and things that you miss out on. I didn't even touch on the movies, bro. The movies used to feel like no other. Transformers, when it first came out in 2007, bro, you couldn't tell me nothing. The experience was top tier. I just don't think we got that no more. Like the last real feeling of that was like Endgame, but that had all started from Iron Man in 2008, so it was building up. Then when you got Avengers in 2012, then you had Age of Ultron in 2015, then you had Infinity War, and then you had Endgame. Like it was all building towards something, and then now it's just not the same. I went to the movie theaters to go see Mission Impossible. I remember when I saw Fallout, people was losing their mind in 2018. It just wasn't the same experience this year. I don't know, man. It's weird, bro. Maybe it's because as I'm aging, I'm starting to turn into that unk kind of feeling. Oh, back in my day. I don't know if that's the case or not. Y'all let me know if I'm tripping. Because it dawned on me as I was on the run, and I couldn't keep this to myself. I spoke to a couple of my neighbors about it because I like to talk to, human beings before I ever go to the internet and start to record a particular video. But I don't know if I'm tripping or not. Maybe I'm wilding. Y'all let me know if y'all agree or not. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. Do you think Gen Z, the tail end of Gen Z and Gen Alpha has a legitimate claim to say that their childhood was better than anybody else's? And furthermore, feel free to expand on the things that you miss about your childhood that now either kids don't do or you're now unable to do as an adult as well. So let me know in the comments. Hey, I appreciate you watching the entire video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button on the way out if you haven't already. And on top of that, hit that notification bell as well. For whatever reason, YouTube's only showing my videos to 20% of my subscribers. So if you have already turned on the notification bell, turn it off, turn it back on. If you never turn it on, turn it on. I appreciate you.